Welcome back for a new edition of Pickups. This is for the month of September, and this is a special fighting game edition of Pickups. I'll be showing mostly older stuff, a couple of more modern. This is one of the two. First is for the PS3, of course, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which I've had on the Vita for quite some time. And yeah, you can get this really cheap, even brand new. Now, in my opinion, this game is actually criminally underrated. Yeah, it stole a lot of elements from, obviously, Smash, but it also added a lot of unique mechanics and stuff, and the overall gameplay of the game is very different than that of the others. Or rather, very different than Smash overall how it plays, plus I like the more interactive environments overall. A great criminally underrated game, in my opinion. Next, on the 360, we have Tekken 6, which up to now I've only had on the PSP, so it's nice actually to get a home console version of 6. I do remember this game can be quite frustrating at times, specifically against the final boss, Azazel, or whatever you want to call him. And yeah, I like this overall, cover sheath since it is holograph. Hopefully you're enjoying the music in the background from Marvel Infinite. Next up, we're going back way time ago. Well, not really way, but to the 90s. With the next pickup, which is Virtual Fighter Kids. Now, this is a Virtual Fighter game I think less people know about. It's a very unique game, and if I remember correctly, I believe this never actually got an American or Western release. It was exclusively only to Japan. Basically, it's just like, what is it like? Basically, kids with big head, more or less, and that's it. But it's actually surprisingly pretty decent. The hitboxes and everything in the game is solid. And it's just a very unique 3D fighter. Definitely plays very different than the traditional Virtual Fighter game. Personally, I wish they would actually remaster this game personally. But I've tried it before, luckily, from different conventions I've been to. And it seriously is a cool and very affordable game also. Next up, we're gonna, unfortunately, don't know why I ended up getting this, but it's arguably, by many people's opinions, the worst fighting game of all time. Worse than that of Rise of the Robots. And that is a game that was released on the PS1 and Saturn. Believe it or not, the Saturn version is actually cheaper than the PS1 version. But it's called Criticom. It had a more or less like a sort of sequel-esque game called Dark Rift for the N64. But yeah, this is a very bizarre game. If you want me sometime to do a discussion video on it, I will. But yeah, this game is just infamous for being considered about the worst fighting game of all time. Even worse than Rise of the Robots, which is saying something. Still, definitely something that intrigued me since I never actually played this game before, just like Rise of the Robots. It's a game I only became more aware of over the last several years. Next we have for the Genesis all-time classic, in a lot of people's opinions, Clay Fighter, which is a very interesting game to say the least. Now this is a game I remember playing back years ago, though I played the SNES version rather than the Genesis version. Why did I get the Genesis version? Because it was a third of the price of the Super Nintendo version complete. Plus, also, I like always adding something to the Genesis collection. And I prefer the honestly the hard plastic cases they use as well more. Next is the last batch of things, and that's for the Geo Pocket Color. The first up we have Capcom, or rather Card Fighters Clash, which involves characters from SNK and Capcom. It's a very unique and interesting game for the most part. Next, if you like Fatal Fury series, well, here's a game for you. And may I add, this game plays amazingly well, believe it or not. For a handheld game, I'm actually surprised at how good it is. The animation of the game is superb. In general, I think this game is great. It's arguably, in my opinion, one of the best, like, definitely handheld fighters easily of the entire 90s. But I expect nothing less from Neo Geo, or rather SNK. Also, you have one of the King of Fighters games was released as well. Believe it or not, most of these are actually also very affordable games. Though if you want to try a lot of these classic fighters, I recommend getting the Neo Geo Pocket or whatever collection on the Nintendo eShop, which is like $40, and you get 10 Neo Geo Pocket Color classics. And pretty much all these fighters are included in the collection. Second to last, we have Samurai Showdown 2. Sam Show has always, in my opinion, pretty much been probably my personal favorite series from SNK, well, between it and the Fatal Fury series, pretty much. And the game also plays, of course, excellent and very well. Just putting this here. And now last, first here's the little booklet for it, and then this. And that is Match of the Millennium, which is a crossover fighting game of SNK versus Capcom. In many people's opinions, this is maybe the best handheld 2D fighter of all time. And I mean, I can't really argue with that opinion. It does have some really cool stuff, and the bosses are a pain to beat in this game. Especially when you have to beat both bison and geese. Yeah, it can be quite a pain. But with that said, I'll see everyone next time, and stay safe out there in YouTube land. Hopefully you enjoyed this fighting game edition. Predominantly retro, but I'll see y'all next time. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.